I'm still getting the hang of this. I'm streaming on StreamYard now instead of OBS, and I'm used to OBS, so I'm still getting the hang of this. But hello. Um, my dog is okay. If anyone knew, I had to abruptly end a couple of days ago because my dog was like breathing really funny. And I was freaking out and had to take care of her. So I just want to say she's fine. She's doing okay. But that's why I had to like abruptly leave. Uh, so it's been like a weird couple of news cycles. But today I wanted to focus just on like two stories. Uh, People are probably gonna be watching the streamer awards, understandably so, or like today's Saturday, so going out. But I just wanted it to be like pretty chill and not really like I don't know. I just wanted it to have like a chill day, streaming and talking and doing whatever. So the first thing I want to talk about is about the whole Oklahoma State situation. Now, the Oklahoma State situation is kind of ridiculous, to be completely honest. It's literally it's so stupid. So this girl, she literally, I can't believe it. So if you haven't heard about this, Oklahoma State came out and was like, we are going to put a junior in college. So she's not like, she's a junior in fucking college. Okay. I think that's really important. We're going to put a junior in college. She, I guess, was considered to be her free speech was in jeopardy because her psychology TA was like, you didn't follow the assignment. You only talked about God. And because you only talked about God, we're going to fail you. And obviously, TPUSA, Charlie Kirk's, is it an agency company? I'm not sure. They like were all over it. They were like, oh, yes. So then it's just gotten out of fucking control now. So first I'm going to read the essay because I think it's really important to actually see how bad this fucking essay is. And to remind everyone that this is a sitting college student. Like this is a junior in college. Like this is not an elementary school. This is not someone who's literally in what middle school. Like this is a college student. And it's just so bad. Okay. Okay. What the fuck? What happened? I did something. Now I have to figure it out. Remove. Why is there two things? Stop sharing. See, I'm still getting the hang of it. One day. Bear with me. Layout. Why is this so small? Oh, that's why I'm so, oh my gosh. Okay. Go. There we go. Okay. Let's see if I can make this bigger. Not really. I'll read it. So the assignment was basically like you have to read this article and then like write about it. Like, and the article was like the assignment was only 650 words. Like it really was not that hard. And remember, she's a junior. She's 21 writing this. This is not an elementary school student. This is a 21-year-old. This article was very thought-provoking and caused me to thoroughly evaluate the idea of gender and the role it plays in our society. The article discussed peers using teasing as a way to enforce gender norms. I do not necessarily see this as a problem. God made male and female and made us differently from each other on purpose. and for a purpose. God is very intentional with that, with what he makes. And I believe trying to change that would only do more harm. Gender roles and tendencies should not be considered stereotypes. Women naturally want to do womanly things because God created us with those womanly desires in our hearts. Every time I read this, I feel like I get stupider. The same goes for men. God created men in the image of his courage and strength, and he created women in the image of his beauty. He intentionally created women differently than men, and we should live our lives with that in mind. It is frustrating to me when I read articles like this and discussion posts from my classmates of so many people trying to conform to the same mundane opinion so they do not step on people's toes. I think that is a cowardly and insincere way to live. It is important to use the freedom of speech we have been given in this country, and I personally believe that eliminating gender in our society would be detrimental, as it pulls us farther from God's original plan for humans. It is perfectly normal for kids to follow gender stereotypes because that is how God made us. You literally already fucking said that. And there's no quotes from the article or even from the Bible, by the way. The reason so many girls want to feel womanly and care for others in a motherly way is not because they feel pressured to fit into social norms. It is because God created and chose them to reflect his beauty and his compassion in that way. Oh, sweetie. Oh, sweetie. Oh, God. Oh, gosh. That's just no, I'm going to stop. That's just embarrassing. That's just, oh, God. That's just so, like, English has never been my thing, like grammar wise, but I love English. A middle school could write better than that. A fucking middle schooler could have written better than that. So obviously, because this is college where you're supposed to be challenged, she failed the assignment, understandably so. And yet, that was not good enough. That was not good enough. And it's now gotten so bad that Oklahoma ended up making a statement. The University of Oklahoma takes seriously concerns involving First Amendment rights, certainly including religious freedoms. Upon receiving notice from the student on the grading of an assignment, the university immediately began a full review of the situation and has acted swiftly to address the matter. First, the college acted immediately to return the academic issue raised by the student. College leaders contacted her on the day her letter was received and have maintained regular communication throughout the process. As previously stated, a formal grade appeals process was conducted. The process resulted in steps to ensure no academic harm to the student from the graded assignments. So they took away the F. Second, the student reported filing a claim of illegal discrimination based on religious beliefs to the appropriate university office. OU has a clear process for reviewing such claims and has been activated. Hello, Jonathan. Activated. The graduate student instructor has been placed on administrative leave pending the finalization of this process. To ensure fairness in the process, a full-time professor is serving as the course instructor for the remainder of the semester. OU remains firmly committed to fairness, respect, and protecting every student's right to express sincerely held religious beliefs. Okay, but like what was happening was not going against student beliefs, like her beliefs. She didn't follow the assignment. So this junior, she's 21 years old. She wrote a really bad essay, And she's claiming that because the teacher gave her an F and because the teacher's trans, That's why she failed. Even though she didn't follow the assignment, she didn't she didn't put any annotations, she didn't cite anything. And because of her then going to TPUSA, which is Charlie Kirk's old company or agency or whatever, they got the US is fucking insane. Oh, it gets better. The story gets better. Just wait. Then TPS, they got the person who graded this assignment, they put them on administrative leave, which is fucking insane. So then there was a protest. Imagine imagine writing your writing so badly that your fucking fellow classmates protest against you. That's fucking embarrassing. Like, I would die. I would move. I would transfer.
Hundreds marched at OU,
protesting the reaction administration had to that failing essay. News 4's Dylan Brown was there.
Protect our professors. That's what's being chanted right now. This is a protest on the OU campus earlier today in response to the very viral story of the junior who wrote an essay and got a 0 on it. Many of them saying something needs to change.
OU, shame on you.
Students at the University of Oklahoma are frustrated.
Protect our professors.
They took that frustration onto campus Friday. Hundreds marching, chanting, and demanding reinstatement for a teaching assistant on administrative leave. This comes after junior Samantha Fulnecki got a 0 on an essay graded by Mel Kurth. The assignment required 650 words discussing this article, gender and its effects on society. The essay didn't meet many points of the rubric, including word count. Fulnecki says she got flunked because she talked about the Bible and her belief that genders beyond male and female are, quote, demonic.
I think I should have gotten 100. I've gotten 100 on every single essay I've written in this class.
The instructor...
Okay, I need fucking proof of that because I don't fucking believe that. Your writing, in and of itself, like, even if you don't read the fucking essay, her writing is worse than a 4th grader. She's illiterate. Like, she's literally illiterate.
Writing, please note that I am not deducting points because you have certain beliefs. But Fulnecki went to Turning Point USA and Governor Stitt.
I think that she fully deserved that 0, and I think it makes the rest of us look like an embarrassment. Don't do good work, then prepare for a bad grade.
Friday, students and others who joined in demanding the university provide the instructor an apology.
I do think OU should apologize.
They went from the Union to the South Oval, led by organizers and student Andrew Weiss.
The religion that taught me to treat others with kindness and respect is being used to defend some of the most dehumanizing and disgusting language I've ever heard.
Were you scared to speak to this, be a voice on this?
Yeah, a little bit. I've given this university a lot of my time, a lot of my money. But one thing I can't give them is my conscience.
There were counter protesters.
There's clearly demonic activity present in both sides of this argument. Yeah, it was a bad essay. It wasn't cited correctly.
Exactly. That is the point. It was a bad essay. That is the fucking point. It was a bad fucking essay. It's a bad essay. It's a bad essay. She failed the fucking essay. She's a junior in college. She's 21 fucking years old. That is the problem.
It did not follow the instructions on Canvas. It was a bad essay, and I'm willing to say that.
Then there was the president of the TPUSA OU chapter, Caleb Magana, showed up in support of Fulnecki. He didn't seem versed in the essay's instructions or that the school investigation is technically still ongoing. Do you think they should wait until the appeals process ends before they just remove a professor?
Clearly, there's parts that you're missing there. You can't just remove a professor because a student made a claim.
Okay, that's what it has to.
But no, it has to be clear. But in their statement, they clearly show that they know what exactly happened.
In Norman, Dylan Brown, Oklahoma's News 4.
All right, Dylan, thank you. Now, we want to make clear the appeals process just started. In their only statement last Saturday, OU leadership said they started the process, and at that time, had already put the instructor on administrative leave.
So they didn't even like try. Like they literally didn't even try to like do anything. So it gets even fucking better. Because Oklahoma University, we've been having a lot of idiots like this emerge in our university recently. It's bad. It's fucking bad. But it gets even worse. They have now put another professor on administrative leave. But let's listen to Fox News address this situation. It's just like, you should be I would hide my face forever. Like, I just don't understand. Like, you should hide your face in shame. Like, this is something you should be ashamed of. This is not something you should be happy about. Like, I don't know.
Offended by the truth. I am saddened that they're offended by the truth of the gospel and the truth that I wrote about in my assignment. And it saddens me to see that that offends them and upsets them the way it did. Jesus is always worth standing up for. And I just encourage those people that are dealing with something similar to push back against that kind of behavior. I would rather have my integrity and give my true opinion and get a 0 on an assignment than have to lie about what I really believe.
Well, she gets a 100 because she knows why she believes what she believes. I'd quiz that professor on whether or not he even believes they're 99.
Okay, 1, they misgendered that professor. 2, no, that's not what college is about. College is literally about the fucking assignments. That is what college is about. It's just insane. I just don't get it. I go to university here in London, and it's been getting crazy over here. Yeah, like that's what's also happening in Europe. Like, Europe's on another fucking level too. Like, I just don't understand why this is a thing. It's very frustrating. And then to know that today Oklahoma came out and they put another professor on administrative leave for this same issue. On Wednesday, a lecturer allegedly demonstrated viewpoint discrimination by excusing students who intended to miss class to attend a protest on campus, but not extending the same benefit to students who intended to miss class to express a counter viewpoint. Immediately upon learning of the situation, the director of first-year composition told students in class today and by email that the lecturer's actions were inappropriate and wrong, and that the university classroom exists to teach students how to think, not what to think. The director further stated that any student, regardless of viewpoint, would be excused if absent from class today to attend the protest without penalty, and that the lecturer had been replaced, effective immediately. For the remainder of the semester, the University of Oklahoma unequivocally supports the decision and swift action taken by the director of first-year composition regarding this matter. Her actions are fully consistent with university policy governing prohibited classroom conduct, and the lecturer has been placed on administrative leave pending an investigation. Classroom instructors have a special obligation to ensure that the classroom is never used to grant preferential treatment based on personal political beliefs, nor to pressure students to adopt particular political or ideological views. Here's the thing. Oklahoma is 50th out of 50 in education. And you are doing this You are 50 out of 50 in education. And you are putting teachers who are actually trying to better the student on administrative leave. It's just like mind-boggling to me. Like, you're like, come on. Like, I just don't understand how anyone can take this seriously. It's fucking embarrassing. And it's honestly like, I know I shouldn't feel bad. Like, she's like definitely going to be the Riley Gaines 2.0. I don't know what's worse, like fighting to not be tied in for 5th place because you tied with the trans woman, or getting an F on an essay and everyone knows you're fucking dumb and you have a protest against you and your entire school hates you. Like, I don't know what's fucking worse and more embarrassing. What's even crazier is her mother is a lawyer for some of the January 6ers and has gotten some of the January 6ers off scot-free. So it's very clear that family is just not very smart. But I like, honestly, I know this sounds terrible, but I do feel bad for the girl. I know it sounds crazy, but like I feel bad because she's so fucking stupid and she's so illiterate for a 21-year-old. Like, oh my gosh. So I just wanted to get that off my chest. The fact that there's literally a 21-year-old that cannot write, and an entire university is putting their entire reputation to support her. I don't understand that. So that's what I wanted to start today off with because I was very frustrated. I was very angry about it. But the main story I really want to talk about is how everything's becoming monopolized in America, but throughout the world, and it's getting out of fucking control. I first want to break it down about what happened with Netflix and Warner Brothers, and kind of then discuss the significance of why monopolization is a bad thing, why we don't want monopolization, and then talk about the similarities between now and the Gilded Age. Because I think people aren't seeing what is to come. And so my goal by showing this is breaking things down a little bit easier so people understand, like, shit's about to get really fucking dark. Worse than the Great Depression. That's where we're headed. But it's an entire world situation, and I don't think enough people understand that. So yeah, let's start with talking about Warner Brothers itself and like that whole situation.
Home. Take me home.
For Superman, home could soon be Netflix, as established franchise powerhouses like Harry Potter.
You're a wizard, Harry.
And Batman.
I've seen now what I have to become.
Join modern media marvels like Stranger Things and K-pop Demon Hunters under one mega Hollywood heavyweight. Netflix co-CEO Ted Sarandos announcing today that the streamer will buy Warner Brothers Studios, HBO Max, and HBO, in a deal valued at nearly $83 billion.
In a world where people have so many choices, more choices than ever, how to spend their time, we can't stand still. We need to keep innovating and investing in stories that matter most to audiences.
Warner Brothers board accepting the offer, which beat out competition from NBC parent company Comcast and David Ellison's Paramount Skydance. The deal, which will see linear cable channels like Discovery and CNN spun off from Warner Brothers, is expected to take 12 to 18 months to close and will face several regulatory hurdles. Tonight, top Hollywood associations raising concerns. The Writers Guild calling the deal what antitrust laws were designed to prevent.
Talent is understandably concerned that this is going to mean fewer buyers and fewer opportunities.
While Netflix says the deal will benefit subscribers, some experts say streaming customers could very well see the cost of consolidation.
If you have more of what people want, you have more leverage to raise prices.
Netflix for years, a disruptor of traditional Hollywood. now on the verge of acquiring classics like Casablanca, hoping today's announcement with Warner Brothers is the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
And a Netflix spokesperson told me just minutes ago that they are committed to keeping movies in theaters if the deal goes through.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.
No. Oh, that's why. I was like, where is the thing?
Netflix winning the bidding war for Warner Brothers Discovery this morning, a huge transaction worth $72 billion.
The combination of Netflix and Warner Brothers creates a better Netflix for the long term. It sets us up for success for decades to come.
I don't think Netflix is buying Warner's for the stock value. They've got that. They're the growth stock. What they need is to grow subscribers and to grow the overall audience. And they see the intellectual property and the library that Warner's offers as being pretty important. This is going to be a very difficult regulatory process for this transaction. The industry is not excited about this. I mean, my DMs and texts blew up last night with some pretty dour messages, because anytime you take out a buyer in the entertainment ecosystem, it results in fewer opportunities. Now, Netflix would argue that they're going to be stronger and they're going to grow more and they're going to have more opportunities for talent to work on bigger and better projects. But the history of the business has shown that when you take out a buyer, you reduce opportunities.
If you think about Netflix, the engagement has stagnated a bit, and I think one of big investors' biggest concerns has been, why is engagement not growing faster? This is sort of an acknowledgement that Netflix is looking at this going, there is so much underexploited IP in this company. And I think they're looking at this as, how do they use Warner Brothers to re-accelerate the overall engagement growth and time spent? There is just so much stuff. I really believe this is all about the IP, and Netflix is looking at this as, how do we take this library and make 1 + 1 equal way more than 2? This is going to be great for consumers. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
No, it's not, actually. How much? Okay, let's see Netflix prices. Netflix prices. Okay, standard with ads. How much is it? Okay, standard with ads, $7.99. Standard, $17.99. How bad of a problem is monopolization in the USA? Oh, it's really fucking bad. I'll show you. We're gonna break it down. You have to pay $6.99 to add an extra member on Netflix with ads. Or you have to add, so $17.99 with an extra member, or if you don't want ads, adding $17.99 plus $8.99. Or premium, $24.99, and add up to 2 extra members for $6.99 with ads, or $8.99 each without ads on top of the $24.99 per month. No one has that kind of fucking money. Like, and this is without Warner Brothers. This is without Warner Brothers. Because remember, they did this whole thing is, if you're not under someone's household in the same fucking house, you can't, they won't let you access it. So even though I was not living under my parents' roof, obviously I was still a part of the family plan, but because they changed it, I was not able to use the family plan anymore when I was living in a different area. Even traveling, they won't let you do it. You have to buy your own plan. And this guy is saying, hey, it's okay. This is great for consumerism. No one has this kind of money. And then you're going to add Warner Brothers, who does some really good fucking movies. No, no. It's just bad. It's just bad.
You're going to get a lot more content at low pricing. Like that is clearly going to.
I'm sorry. Spending what, $40 a month is low prices? I'm glad the UK has strong antitrust laws. I really I'm curious how the UK is going to handle this situation, because obviously Netflix is worldwide. Warner Brothers is worldwide. So I'm really curious how other countries are going to handle this. Because if everything's under one conglomerate, how does that work? You know? I don't know. I've canceled my Netflix subscription. I know a lot of people have done the same. Have we? I don't think we have. I mean, I have one because I had to move back in with my family. But I am just really frustrated with how streaming has been, to be honest. And it also affects movies. Like the one movie that I've seen in like years that was incredible was Frankenstein. And it was a Netflix movie, but it was also directed by Guillermo del Toro. So obviously it was incredible. Sinners, I saw Sinners too, but Sinners I saw on the big screen. Frankenstein I wish was a big screen, like on the big screen. And I think that's another thing with streaming is when you have incredible, beautiful movies like Frankenstein, you're not able to have it on the big screen, which is sad. I recommend Frankenstein. I think they're talking about putting it in the movie theater because everyone loved it. Like it's gonna that and Sinners, I believe, is going to just sweep the Oscars, to be honest. But I just don't know how they're supposed to only have this conglomerate in the United States and then change it worldwide. Like that doesn't make any sense to me. I just don't know how that works. But this fucker seems very excited.
Be the messaging, I guarantee, from Netflix. Lots of content, shorter movie windows. Like this is going to be very consumer friendly. Obviously, Hollywood's going to have to.
What does that mean, like shorter? What? I don't know what that means. Shorter movie. I don't know what that means. Like shorter movies?
Kind of get their minds around it.
I think when you have Netflix, which is the largest streaming company, acquire this kind of power in an $83 billion deal, they're paying that price for a reason. When you're looking at a deal like this, you're thinking about how does this affect the producers? How does this affect creatives? How does this affect actors, distributors, content creators, content funders? I can't overstate the fact that as state enforcers, certainly in addition to the federal government.
It's sad that so many great films are being hidden behind paywalls. I completely agree. That's how I also feel about sports. For example, I love baseball, but they have like Apple Friday Night Baseball, where if you don't have an Apple subscription, then you can't watch the baseball game. I think that's fucking dumb. Same with ESPN. Same with Amazon. Amazon's now going crazy with their Amazon Prime. If you don't have Amazon Prime, then you can't watch like 3 football games per week because they're all under Amazon. Well, here's the thing, Jonathan. I'm going to talk about the article that you put, but he may not allow this to go through for a very specific reason. But one second. I'll explain why.
Government that are going to be looking at this deal, they are looking at the fact that when this deal closes, if there is an impact on the number of stories that get told and the types of people that get to tell those stories, that is a harm to our market and that is a harm to the economy and to the American people that should be credited.
We've already been talking to people at the federal level, at the state level, and internationally, because this is a significant threat, we believe, to the long-term viability of theatrical exhibition.
This is a very risky bet for Netflix, an even riskier bet for Warner. When you're a seller, the only thing that matters more than price is certainty of closing. And when you have this kind of regulatory risk across so many different dimensions, federal, state, in terms of domestic, but also international, on top of all the filings that are going to take a long time, there's a tremendous risk that Warner won't close the deal.
So this is why I don't know if Trump is going to allow this. I don't know if Trump is going to allow this because, let me move some things around, for this specific reason. So a couple of early down, last year, the Ellison family, no, a couple of months ago, actually, the Ellison family bought CBS, and CBS has been saying more positive things about Trump. They've also been saying more pro-Israel things, because Barry Weiss is now the executive producer. So this is why I'm not sure if Trump is going to pass, like, acknowledge this, specifically because of, where is it? I saw it when I was here. David Ellison led Paramount, which kicked off the bidding war with a series of unsolicited offers and has close ties with the Trump administration, had questioned the sale process earlier this week and alleged favorable treatment to Netflix. Even before the bids were in, some members of Congress said a Netflix Warner Bros. Discovery deal could harm consumers in Hollywood. The thing is also is that David Ellison is a huge Zionist. And because he's a huge Zionist, he has been doing extreme Hasbara with CBS, with 90 Minutes. Like, it's bad. What's also really concerning about this is CNN. The reason why people are also concerned is that David Ellison can easily buy CNN from Warner Brothers, because Warner Brothers owns CNN, but it's separate. So if they get CNN, then we're going to have just huge propaganda Zionism through and through. It would be so fucking bad. Oh my God. But because Trump is so close with the Ellisons, and because the Ellisons are so close with Netanyahu, I don't know. I really don't know. I honestly really don't know. But this kind of breaks down how the power of media and why media is a form of propaganda, and why when we monopolize and have people who have specific ideologies, how that affects the media, how we consume everything. Because I don't think that's why, like, everything's connected. And not enough people are talking about the fact that everything's connected. So let's see this one.
Freedom of the press is only guaranteed when you own the press.
Communication breakdown. Pause for the message. Wake up. Every station is identification. Global syndication is the shaping of the nation. ABC, Disney, NBC, GE, Murdoch is Foxy, and with a hint, he owns a pen, the camera, the sword, by Coke, by Ford, getting broke, getting bored.
And experience yours. From the earliest days, freedom of the press was what defined America. Thomas Jefferson, who helped write the Declaration of Independence, believed a free media was essential for a free nation, saying, were it left to me to decide whether we should have a government without newspapers or newspapers without a government, I should not hesitate a moment to prefer the latter. That was in 1787. Today, our newspapers seem to be fading in importance in a multimedia world that is largely owned and controlled by a handful.
So NBC Universal is now, most of these don't exist. The only two in this specific, this was made, when was this made?
Of large media corporations.
This was made 4 years ago. In 4 years, Time Warner's not a thing. I don't know what this is. And this I know is electricity. NBC, Universal, and Disney are the main conglomerates for media.
I think we're probably the most media-dominated society in the world.
Jeff Cohn worked in major media. Now he's one of the industry's fiercest critics.
Half a dozen corporations own and control most of the mainstream media in our country. So if you're looking at who rules America or who owns America, it's the same people that propagandize to America.
The press and the outlets that report news or convey information are just a small slice of vast media empires producing entertainment products that also sell a way of life based on consumption.
When you look at who's on the boards of media corporations, they're also on the boards of U.S. oil companies, and they're on the boards of U.S. military contractors. So trying to study who owns America, you're really also, these are the people that own the media. We don't have a state media, but in some way.
4 years later, we actually do now have state media. It's NBC, NCA, CBS, Paramount.
It's very much like a state media. It's the corporate state.
If this is true, then we can say that the American media doesn't just report news. As we'll see, it's not independent of the system, but a pillar of it. It reinforces the worldview and defends the interests of those who rule America. "30 years ago, 50 companies dominated American media. Now it's down to 6. Here are some charts on media ownership.
That's fucking insane. 50 years ago, there was 50 companies. Now there's only 6. And that was 4 years ago. So, and now it's what? 3 probably? That's not good. That is not good. That is really bad. Really fucking bad.
That illustrate this concentration. With new global digital enterprises like Google, Facebook, and Twitter growing in importance worldwide,
Twitter.
US-based media became a transnational force. The U.S. media companies are themselves owned in large part by hedge funds, mutual funds, and finance companies. Barry James Dyke is an asset manager who has studied media ownership.
The research which I've done is unequivocal, and I kind of stumbled into this, is that the media companies, the major media companies, i.e. the Disneys, the CBSs, the news corporations, all of them, this is all public documents, is that they're all actually owned by mutual fund companies. The majority shareholders are owned by mutual fund companies. So, and also they also get a lot of their revenue from these companies. So you're never going to see any consistent criticism about these fund companies.
Are these companies investigated by the media?
No, they're not.
Are they responsible to the public in some way? Are they accountable? Do the public really know what they're doing?
The public really doesn't have a clue. They really don't know what they're doing.
He has documented his findings with charts in his own book, The Pirates of Manhattan.
That's a great name.
Well, people are not going to be not getting the truth.
But there is a lot of coverage, especially of politics, that's often treated as a sporting event, with an emphasis on poll numbers and election results. Mary Boyle follows media coverage of elections for Common Cause. What about the role of the media? Is the media helping to strengthen our democracy, or do you think it's helping to divide us?
Well, I think that's a great question. I think that, there are a couple of things going on there. Obviously, you've got kind of cable channels that are, in different camps, and they are not showing different points of view. You've got Fox News showing the right. You've got MSNBC showing the left. And so with a
Well, Emma, since David Ellison bought CBS, MSNBC is not owned and is not a part of CBS anymore. Now it's MS Now, which in my opinion is the stupidest fucking name ever. Like, they could have come up with something better. So MS Now is completely separate. It's a separate entity.
Up like that, you have Americans that are just kind of tuning in to the channel they want to listen to, that kind of expresses their views, and you're not seeing kind of a mix of an opinion, a debate, anything like that. You've also got the shrinkage of the media. You've got less coverage of what's going on, and I think this is particularly concerning more around kind of state-based and local politics, where there's even less coverage of what's going on in politics.
But even as the world is known for its diversity, American media is not. Editorially and ideologically, the power elite tends to reflect the views of the government and the people who shape its views. Dissenting politicians like Congressman Jesse Jackson Jr. have a hard time getting their views heard.
Who owns the media? How the media is translated?
He is not in Congress anymore.
Some of the moguls and the titans of media and industry are part of the problem. They shape a narrative for the American people, a narrative that ultimately leads millions of people to vote for candidates based upon the narrative that they shape, based upon the talking heads that they control. And those Americans tend to vote and tend to engage the system on the basis of that which they hear. Media is a significant part of this problem.
Historian Eric Foner agrees. He says it's not just political bias at work, but what the media as a business feels it's forced to focus on to attract ratings and revenues.
Somehow that idea of power behind the people in office is not really in our media very much. It's not really in people's minds very much. They personalize politics. There are personalities combating each other, but they don't look at who's behind the scenes.
Well, you're quite right that the media focuses on personalities, and often the quirks of personality, Clinton's sexual escapades, or whether Obama was born in the United States or not, or Romney and his cars and whatever, is not paying.
The fact, looking back, that's nothing compared to Trump. Especially the taxes. We still haven't seen Donald Trump's taxes. And he's been president twice. Like, these are nothing compared. The media has done so much polarization. Yes. Yes.
Taxes and many other things. Those are not totally unimportant issues, but maybe it's the nature of the media today in and of itself, in that it has to go for the quick news. Deep investigative reporting is not emphasized as much as perhaps it was in the past. And, you got to sell papers, and scandal sells papers, personality sells papers, celebrity sells papers. So you're right that the larger nature of how the system operates tends not to get emphasized as much.
It's not even understood by many people.
Well, it's hard to understand. This is a very large country, over 300 million people, a very, very complicated economy and political system. So it's difficult to understand exactly how things operate. But I think, in a certain sense, the anti-government sentiment, which is rife in this country, which is generally associated with the right wing, is also a response to the feeling. It's an inchoate feeling. It's not an analytical feeling, but it's a feeling that government is aloof. It is not responsive. It does not really represent the people. It represents some very particular interests. And that sense is pretty widespread in this country.
Media watch groups are also concerned about the lack of diversity within the media that makes it unrepresentative of the country it serves in racial, ethnic, and gender terms.
The unwritten credo of the New York Times is do not alienate.
He's great, Chris Hedges. He's awesome.
Alienate those for whom we depend on for money and access.
Chris Hedges was an award-winning journalist for the New York Times, an American media star.
And that means the power elite and the financiers who advertise. But it's expandable. I mean, you have at least in the positions that I was in, the possibility
Oh, he
to
has?
do journalism.
Why has he become a lunatic now? Maybe I've missed something.
Not that there aren't, restrictions or constrictions. There are, and not that they can't be punishing.
Hedges' work is still very respected, but he believes that much of the press is ultimately a charade that covers up for power more than covers it, especially when reporting on elections.
He's right. He's right. You really are seeing it now regarding the fact that no one's really said anything about Trump and the fact that it's very clear he has Alzheimer's. And yet, when Biden was clearly in his own dementia, having issues, like, the media was on top of it. But with Trump, literally, the media hasn't said anything. And it's very, very frustrating. He's become a conspiracy theorist and runs a channel that spreads conspiracy theories. Oh, I haven't heard that. Yeah, I just know about his reporting, mainly, how he does really good reporting on foreign wars. That's where I've really focused on him and know him from personally.
Because the political theater, the personal narrative of the candidate, it's all irrelevant. It's meaningless. And people, we still play the game. Look, every totalitarian country I covered had elections. They all play the charade. Even East Germany did. And that's the charade we play. And when we have a compliant corporate media that pretends that charade is real. So I think the problem is that the illusion still remains so powerful. But people are changing, but the illusion is still so powerful that people confuse where power actually exists.
How does the New York Times cover the power centers that many people say rule America? Chris Spanos edits the New York Times Examiner that monitors the newspaper's content every day.
I'm not like, I think I got like a copyright on YouTube, whatever. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to log off of StreamYard and come back streaming on OBS, just so it's a little bit easier. So I'll be like back in like 2 seconds. I'm so sorry. This is so obnoxious, but like, I just want to make things a little bit more seamless. Okay. I'll be back in 2 seconds.